Expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in the Riv before a holiday weekend,
Yep.
So no show Monday.
No show Monday, people. Martin Luther King Day, and BCC will be having their 22nd annual Martin Luther King observation. And you can watch it virtually online. The breakfast has been canceled once again because of COVID. So if you want to attend, go to the BCC website, register, and you can look it out. That's going to be very interesting. It's bristolcc.edu, and you can check it out there to register for the events. The events are going to start tomorrow, and they're going to run all week. So.
And if you want to have breakfast, you can stop somewhere and pick up breakfast and have it at home.
That's it.
While you're watching. That's all. So it'll be a total day. So okay, we got a ton of stuff here today.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start first off with the fact that Paul is taking full credit. Full credit. I'll read the headline. Cogan's fight for the ARPA guideline change leads to $10 million for pandemic revenue loss.
Let's see.
If you remember,
Joe Good, right?
Yeah, Joe Good, of course.
I guess she's going to get a job as a press agent when she retires from the Herald News.
I guess. They say that because of Massachusetts' unique education and school building funding schemes, cities and towns had to include that money as part of their overall revenue, when in actuality, this Treasury Department is now saying that it is not revenue. And because of that change, it opened up some money. And if you remember correctly, in the budget, they originally had proposed, I think it was 4.5 or $5.2 million in the budget from ARPA money as lost revenue. That money now has gone up to $10 million. And I'm not sure where he's going to use that besides filling the holes in his budget. But when I sent this article over to former City Council President Cliff Ponte, he said, well, that's great, but it's not to be used to balance the budget, which is right. This ARPA money is not to be used to balance the budget.
But it will be.
But this mayor keeps using it to balance the budget.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Well, you know, you're right, CJ. But the other problem I have is this entire scenario. This con job. Politicians love to tell people what a great job they're doing for them. Okay, let's look at this. They gave you your own money back. As a matter of fact, they gave you the entire United States' money back because they don't have any money to give you. They're not giving you their own personal money. They're not writing you a check. Auchincloss isn't writing you a check. This is the problem with people. Pay attention. Understand something. Their answer to everything is give you back some of your own money and then tax you more. And look at what you're dealing with. You're dealing with inflation. They're taking money out of your pocket every single second. You're paying more for food, more for gas, more for cars, more for everything. I saw the stats yesterday, 49.9%, houses, everything. Inflation's rampant. The economy of the United States is collapsing. The most vulnerable people just got a 14.5% increase in their Medicare. And they make a big deal out of this. We got your money. They're exacerbating the problem because that's their answer to everything. Print more money, get more money, and it causes even more inflation. That's why these boneheads in Washington can't stop inflation. Their answer to inflation is to print more money, give more money away, give out stimulus checks, give people more money to balance their budget. Not that if there's a catastrophe, a natural disaster, or there's some issues in a pandemic. But you know, when they begin to use this to pat themselves on the back, this actually creates as many problems as it fixes long term. And that's the problem. You know, they don't see the forest for the tree. Pat himself on the back, he got you the money. He didn't get you anything. They politic their way into giving themselves a pat on the back for their own election and for their own resume. This is a big deal. Where did he get that $10 million? Did one of his banker friends, did they donate it to the city of Fall River? You just got your tax bill. My tax bill went up. Your tax bill went up. Is it going to go down now because they got this $10 million?
I doubt it.
I don't think so. So, look, this is, you know, again, political BS. You know, when the government gives you something, pay attention. They're not giving you anything. All they're doing is giving you some of your own money back as they're raping and pillaging all the time.
Well, what's interesting is Paul's taking a lot of credit for this, and that's fine. You know, hooray, Paul Cogan.
They found a loophole. That's all they did to get more money.
Right, and he stated this gives everybody statewide, and I think even nationally, the ability to use the first $10 million of their allocation. So we'll be plugging it in the best places we can after I meet with the finance team, which we don't have.
Yeah. But don't worry, any finance team he has will do exactly what he tells them
It's definitely tremendous flexibility. Michael Dion from the Community Development, Fall River Community Development Agency called it a big game changer for the city. We've always said we've had lost revenue due to the pandemic, said Dion. Back in July, Cogan wrote a letter explaining the issue to members of the federal delegation, including Reps Jake Auchincloss and Bill Keating and Senator Ed Markey. Emails also went back and forth between the mayor and Senator Elizabeth Warren's assistants. And in November, the delegation met with the U.S. Treasury officials to make the case for the change. In December, several members of Congress penned a letter to Janet Yellen, Secretary of the Department of the Treasury, urging the change in revenue calculations. On January 6th, Cogan got the word that $10 million option was written into a federal ARPA guidelines. Dion credited Cogan with effecting the change in the revenue calculations. Auchincloss agreed. He had everything to do with this, said Auchincloss, joking Cogan could be relentless. This is where partnerships and relationships are so important.
Boy, you can tell it's 2022. There's an election coming up, and the Democrats are sinking fast, and that's some great political rhetoric. And if you believe that he wrote that letter, I got a bridge to sell you.
Yep. Well, here's the interesting thing. Auchincloss said he was able to get a one-on-one meeting with Yellen to discuss the issue of the calculations for revenue losses for ARPA funding money that was meant to be directly and immediately useful, quote unquote. Quote, that's what I tried to press home, that the most agile and effective level of government in this country is local government. It's mayors, it's city councils, and select boards. They are the ones who understand the most what constitutes need and can respond most impactfully. Auchincloss says he also told Yellen that it was about, quote, empowering cities and towns and mayors like Paul Cogan. I think that made some impact, said Auchincloss. And then Rep. Auchincloss, as you can see his name at the top here, sent out a press release, of course. And it's actually sent out to all members of the district. I'm your representative of Congress, and I write to keep you informed. I want to share with you 3 significant developments since I wrote. January 6th in voting rights, which, by the way, the voting rights bill has not passed.
It's not going to pass
It's
either.
probably not going to pass.
Cinema blew it up last night.
Yep. And so, and they're talking about January 6th, which was January 6th of last year. Guess what? We know what happened. I mean, you've got a committee investigating it.
No,
I'm over it.
You know, I have to disagree with that. We don't know what happened. because they...
No, I said we know it happened.
Yeah, we know it happened. We don't know what happened
Right.
because they're not releasing a lot of documents. They're not releasing a lot of tapes in front of the federal government questioning. One of the deputy directors would not answer the question if there were any FBI agents in the building, involved in the planning. It said, I cannot answer that, I cannot answer that. It was a simple answer. If they weren't involved in actually trying to promote this for whatever reason it was, the answer would be simple. The FBI did not have any informants, any agents in or any part of this January 6th. They still haven't asked Pelosi why she didn't get the National Guard. It's been documented that the National Guard was offered. It's her and Bowser from Washington that denied to have the National Guard. It wouldn't have happened if they had 20,000 National Guard there. The fact is that this is being used. Again, everything is about politics. And you know something? I don't care. You want to make him, I'll tell you what, Paul, I'm sorry you didn't get into politics instead of the school department. You might have been president. You're so good at this.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely amazed at your insight and your ability to draft letters that influences, the entire state. You're amazing. Thank you. But you know something? I'd rather have the money in my pocket to spend the way I want it. Don't take everything I got and then give me a little bit back and expect me to kiss your butt, because I'm not going to do it. It's like when they jack up gas prices $5 and then drop them $3 and everybody gets happy. Oh, the gas prices went down $3, but they're still $2 higher than we started.
Exactly.
So, this is the biggest con in the world. Politicians love to write letters patting each other on the back when they give us back our money and overspend our money. They're still printing money up in Washington, and Biden wants to print money like they did in Nazi Germany between 20 and 21, 1920 and 1921. That tanked the German economy and started the Second World War. The reality is, this is 22 has already started. The midterm elections, and I don't know why you're worried about it. This state is so blue. I mean, and look at, you notice in that letter, they had to mention every single person on a federal level, everybody. Markey, Warren, I reached out to this one and that. Bring them all in so now they can mention me.
Yep.
Politicians make me
and it's
sick.
Funny.
I'm sorry. They make me nauseous.
It's really funny you should say that, because when he talks about the Treasury amending the rule on the lost revenue, recently he says, nowhere in this piece of on the Treasury rule does he mention Paul Cogan anywhere.
No.
Nowhere. Why? Because it's not Paul Cogan's election year. It's Auchincloss's election year. And I had to laugh when I was reading this, because as a result, many Bay State communities were at risk of being unfairly barred from flexible spending that would allow them to build and upgrade critical infrastructure, expand health services, advance environmental remediation, and improve public safety. He forgot to put in there and fill the holes in their budget.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to. They
Right.
do it anyway.
Under the new rule, the Treasury Department addressed our concerns by allowing all cities and towns to claim up to $10 million in general revenue loss, rather than using the calculation that made many of them ineligible for flexible direct funding from ARPA. This streamlined approach responds to our request for a fair and accurate accounting of lost revenue. Fall River didn't lose $10 million in lost revenue, but now we have. Now we have $10 million. That's how we fill the budget. Now, I love the way he closed this section out. Massachusetts deserves to build back better. They're still pushing that Build Back Better bill, okay? Using American Rescue Plan funding the way Congress intended. And I am thrilled that our concerns were swiftly addressed. I led this letter to elevate the concerns of local leaders in Massachusetts' 4th District. And I will always go to bat to support the needs of our cities and towns. Why don't you run? And remember, I'm running for re-election.
Oh, God, look, let them, they're going to campaign, but look, I mean, like I said, this is a tale of two cities. We got these, the banker friends, the lawyer friends, the politician friends, everybody's mentioned, and they give back, they get this con running. Let's just look at reality. This is the way it works. They throw you a couple of crumbs. They want you to elect them again so they can throw you some more crumbs after they took the entire loaf of bread away from you. Just look at what happened to the retirees in this country. Medicare went up 14.5%. The new premium went from what, 148 to 170.10.
Correct.
170.10, 148 and change to 170.10. 170.10 for over $500 a month, and there are some people that are living on virtually nothing today.
Right.
Social Security. What did the Social Security go up? They were crowing, went up like
5.9%.
5.9%, and then they raised the premium for Medicare 14.5%. Inflation is running, depending on what you're buying, anywhere from almost 50% to a low of 6.9%. So they've completely obliterated that money they gave you, and then they expect you to kiss their butt because you're dumb. They think you're stupid. They're saving you again, throwing you the crumbs back after they took the entire loaf of bread from you. I had to sit at a meeting yesterday. It's January, and all the pharmaceuticals begin to go up. They readjust their prices.
Yep.
I had to listen to people that can barely afford medications because their medications went up $3 or $4 because they got a whole bunch of prescriptions, and they're on a very low income. They're living on less than $25,000, $20,000 a year, gross, not net, gross. They have bills to pay, property taxes going up. See, those are the people that I look at a meeting, not the Auchinclosses, not the Richie Riches, the regular people. And what disturbs me more about this is, I've been watching this nauseating game my entire life, but it's like when they really think you're stupid. So look, this is their game, this is their play. Take the money, it's your money. But don't feel like you're indebted to them. They only do things when it's going to benefit them politically. That is a campaign letter.
That's right.
And that's what it is. So let's stop conning it. That headline in the Herald News is to prop up another politician.
That's right.
And every time you read this stuff, it's a con job. If they just left everybody alone and let them keep their own money, we would be a lot better off, because I'll tell you what, $58,000 for one medication that caused supposedly an uptick in Medicare?
Yep.
How can the same people, where's Auchincloss? Man, speaking of Auchincloss, that segues into a great thing. Auchincloss was trying to prohibit Canadian drugs.
Right.
So you couldn't get your drugs cheaper. You can pay as much between 35 and 80% less for an American drug in Canada or Mexico or anywhere else in the world. He wants to stop that so the pharmaceutical companies can make money. I don't see Auchincloss now leading the charge to reduce the Medicare premiums. Asking a pharmaceutical company that's making trillions and trillions of dollars on shots and other pharmaceuticals, how they have the audacity to charge $58,000 for a medication that probably cost them $2 in a lab to make. Oh, we spent all this money on research. Bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm sick of this crap, because all they ever do is where is he on the issues that poor people really care about? No. Oh, the local mayors know everything. Well, when the local mayor hangs around with bankers and lawyers all the time, he's not worrying about paying for his prescription drugs, but I know people who are, and that's what disturbs me. This is so hypocritical. It's like, it just never ends, and it's never been elevated to this level. This administration on a federal level and everything else I have never seen it this bad. The hypocrisy is just incredible. They just forget about all the damage they do and just keep telling you how great they are.
Well, you know, what's interesting is you brought this up. The Medicare increase was based in part on that drug.
On that drug, yeah.
Aduhem or something along that line.
Whatever the hell it is.
Whatever it is. It's an Alzheimer's drug, which has no proven effect. They have not proven that the drug works, but it's been approved for use, and Medicare is going to pay for it. So because of that, you and I, you out there, have to pay the increased premium to cover that drug. So now the drug company says, well, we'll cut the price in half. Ooh, in half.
So they're losing money? No. So there you go.
And because they've cut it in half, they said to Medicare, and so have several elected officials, maybe you should reconsider the rate increase. And you and I both know.
Yeah.
Who's going to reconsider that rate increase?
When's the last time they ever repealed a tax?
Exactly. So let's get real, and let's be realistic here. We're screwed, and that's it. And Auchincloss is doing it to us, and so is many others. And the worst part about it is, this SOB will be re-elected no matter what, and he's useless. He's absolutely useless. Because nobody's going to run against him that's of worth any volume. And if somebody did run against him that was worth something, they wouldn't re-elect him because this guy's only had one term in so far.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But remember, for the rest of his life, he still gets his salary.
But yeah, and remember one thing. It's ironic that we talk about this, how ridiculous these people are. Look what they did in Afghanistan. I just saw a documentary today. They can't get people into the military. There's 3 reasons. They either have a drug problem, a criminal record, or they're not physically fit enough to even get into the military anymore. They're having all kinds of problems. They are now, depending on what you enlist to go and do, they're giving them up to $50,000 signing bonuses. $50,000 if you want to go in and be an airborne ranger. I was born too late, so I could have got 50 grand, but I didn't, and I still jumped out of airplanes. But the fact is that this is what happens, and I saw a veteran, a member of Congress who was a veteran, and who was airborne ranger, and talking about, he's a colonel in the National Guard now. He serves some tours and in a regular military. Basically saying that, the stain of what happened in Afghanistan, that's holding people from joining now. And everybody's forgotten. There are still Americans trapped in Afghanistan, and the interpreters who helped American forces for 20 years are trapped in Afghanistan. And this country's just moved on, and that's what the Democratic Party does. They just move on. You screw up the border, you don't talk about it. You screw up the Afghanistan withdrawal, you say, I'm not leaving, we're going to get everybody out. Then you leave people there. Then you can't agree on how many people you left there, and then you turn around. And it's like, no, this is the new carrot they're dangling in front of the voters because it's an election year. And you know something? People have got to wake up, and especially in states like this. That's why everybody's moving out.
Right.
I wish I was 20 years younger. I'd be gone so fast, your head'd spin.
I'd hear you. Well, we don't have a lot of time left, but I'm going to tell you now. Colin Dias sent the mayor some questions.
Yes.
In regards to the ARPA money. And question number one, and I got to tell you something. Colin's come a long way from the day that he was a 14 or 15-year-old kid in the Walmart parking lot screaming at us during the recall. So, he's turned out to be quite the politician and quite the civil activist.
Yeah.
Question 1, will Jobs for Fall River be required to submit periodic reports demonstrating how the funds are being used? The Community Development Agency does something to a similar effect to assure public dollars are being used for the purpose of the allocation. Yes, Jobs for Fall River jobs will be required to meet qualified objectives and performance measurements. Jobs will be required to submit an annual report in accordance with guidelines established by the Fall River ARPA Committee. The city will also monitor the performance of jobs against the goals and performance standards stated above. Now remember, it says the Fall River ARPA Committee. Who's on the ARPA Committee?
Everybody that the mayor appointed.
But who else is on the ARPA Committee? Ken Fiola.
Yeah.
And who is in charge of Jobs for Fall River?
Ken Fiola.
Okay, so he's setting his own. He's setting his own
yeah,
standard.
well, of course, that's absurd. They have quantified objectives and performance that will be they'll submit an annual report to themselves,
Right.
to see if they're doing a good job.
Exactly.
So I mean that whole thing is a joke. Okay, next.
Jobs will be required to be in compliance with the agreement for program administration activities.
Oh, you didn't read the question.
Oh, the question was, this question is similar to question 1. Is there going to be any accountability as to how these funds are going to be used? Will the public be able to see where exactly Jobs for Fall River expends these funds? Particularly, I wish to see, as I'm sure the public would as well, how much of these funds will go to salary and other administrative costs. Here's the kicker. Jobs will be required to be in compliance with the agreement for program administration activity scope, which states the small business community in the city of Fall River has been negatively impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. Many small businesses have closed, and the ones currently operating have lost significant amounts of revenue and profit during the pandemic. Small businesses were required to close during quarantine and are currently operating under reduced hours. The Small Business Grant Assistance Program will provide businesses that are negatively impacted by the pandemic with grant assistance. Businesses currently operating with 5 employees or less would receive $2,500, and businesses with 6 to 10 employees would receive $5,000. The activity is funded with $3.26 million of American Rescue Plan Act funding. $3 million is for direct assistance. $2,500 is for administration of the program, and up to $10,000 for advertising, depending on demand.
250,000, not 2,500. 250,000.
250,000.
Administration. That means who gets it?
That means Jobs for Fall River is going to get it. That means Ken Fiola is going to get it.
$250,000 on
Another quarter of a
one.
million. Now, if we added up every single dollar that Ken Fiola and his associated companies got, we could declare him as a dependent.
Yeah, and not only that, he might be in Forbes' richest people in the world. If you take the amount of money he's getting for all these different jobs and the amount of money he controls, remember that factor. How much money does he control?
Right.
And with that control comes power.
That's right.
Because when you've got that kind of, all you got to do is look at that Fauci. With those grants he gives out. That's why everybody kicks his butt. They all want their $1 million grants to torture dogs and monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this is it. And there's another question. Will the public be able to see what business received grants?
Money
and for how much? A list of all businesses will be reported by Jobs to the city of Fall River. The listing of businesses receiving grants funding will be public record, and it can be requested by anyone. Yeah, just try to get it. Didn't we request a Malone report?
Yeah.
I don't. Look, again, this is like inbred Jed. They're gonna, it's like the fox. It's like the fox being in charge of the hen house. So we're gonna allow the foxes to review the actions of the fox in the hen house. So, I mean, again, this is they've driven this to an art form.
In full disclosure, these answers were provided to Colin Dias by Ann O'Neill Souza, Chief of Staff for the Mayor of Fall River. Now,
not us.
Not us, exactly. I want to tell you right now, Colin, great job.
Yeah, good questions, very good questions.
Good questions, and you're keeping the people informed. It's good to see that some citizens are getting active in their government. And what does that do? That puts an itch in the politicians' backside, because they don't want to feel this type of pressure. And I'm sorry, but Ken Fiola is getting way too much, and I think something's got to be done about that. I mean, he's got the state pier, he's got the RDA, he's got the economic development contract, he's got this contract. How many contracts does he have with the city?
As many as he can get.
Exactly. And $400 and some odd thousand from community development block grant money, $6,000 a month from state pier, $250,000 from this. I mean, it all adds up rapidly. So, thank you for watching. I want to remind you that Monday we will not have a show. It's Martin Luther King Day. So remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. It's going to be cold.